Welcome back to another tropical update. In this one, we'll be looking at Tropical Storm Beryl and some sneak peeks at some other development that could become Cindy and even the D-named storm, you guys, here. The Atlantic has really taken off here with exploding, but we do have a 40-mile-an-hour tropical storm, 1,006 millibars, and it has honestly really intensified since the morning update, really gaining that deep convection out into the center. I saw it earlier this evening. It has unprecedentedly, even right now, it is still blowing off some deep convection as of 11 o'clock tonight. And there it is. One thing I am noticing is just a very intense core really starting to develop, and I noticed that a little bit earlier, about an hour earlier here, as we got some pretty intense convection, but not just normal convection. We're seeing some wrapping convection. How do I know that? Is because I'm seeing some thunderstorms blow up this way, then I'm seeing thunderstorms blowing up this way, and then I'm seeing some blow up on the southern side. So what I'm getting here is the inner core is intensifying pretty rapidly right now, really having some aggression of that rotation. And either way, very nice core in this and very compact storm, big time convection throughout the evening and night. Um, really moving out in all quadrants, some deeper convection back in here, some thunderstorms, trying to just help and introduce that spin there. But I mean, this looks like a 40 to a 45-mile-an-hour tropical storm. We're going to have to continue to watch this throughout tonight into tomorrow, because for all we know, this can become a really huge issue, you guys. I mean, it's already expected to become a 90 to a 100-mile-an-hour storm with NHC as it enters the islands, and they're already talking about discussions that this wouldn't rule out the possibilities of a hurricane, a Category 3. There it is, the storm. I mean, really intense here. We got that inner core really wrapped around here. I would say inner core somewhere in here in this deep convection. How else I know this? Because we got some nice banding features on this northern side and even the southern side. You can kind of see that there. Even some more thunderstorms there. Not too much banding on the eastern side, probably due to some of the dry air. We even got some banding features still, leftover banding features on this side. And even one tried to develop but did not really was successful. But there's banding features in this. Maybe not the best banding features, but this is really looking like a developing tropical storm. By no doubt, really nice tropical storm here. Honestly, could have happened a little earlier, I do think. Could have happened probably around the 5 p.m. update, but I respect them. I kind of figured that they were going to make the tropical storm later to just be certain of what's going to happen. But I mean, if we look at the satellite imagery from earlier, this was earlier, you guys, with the convection into now. This has only gotten better symmetrical, better organized, and as of right now, this is still an absolute beast of a storm here, really developed. I mean, core is right there. I mean, you can easily see the banding features on all quadrants here. Even some good outflow, inner core. I mean, really nice storm looking. I'm very curious what this is going to look like tomorrow. But once again, Tropical Storm Beryl, they do expect here. I'm going to like to take a look at the cone of the National Hurricane Center. And by the track, you guys can see into the Caribbean and definitely seeing the H. And I wouldn't even roll out an M tomorrow. Just depends how quickly this intensifies. If air, because I know one thing I do know is around 7:30 they do have aircraft going into this, so I should have tropical aircraft update as we continue. So with that, we should probably see, I wouldn't be surprised, 40, 50 miles an hour tomorrow morning. And one thing that worries me just a bit is they do have an 45-mile an hour tropical storm at 8 a.m. We're gonna have to see. They might push it, they might not. They might keep it at 40 until the aircraft gets in there. I wouldn't be surprised, but we're gonna have to see how this continues to intensify. But as we look into 8 p.m., they do have a 60-mile an hour storm. We're going to have to see. Tomorrow's going to be the real key. If we see 65, 70-mile an hour tropical storm, then you can expect very early Sunday morning, potentially 75, 80-mile an hour storm. National Center still has that at 70, but this continues to strengthen 80 over here. And then just south of the Barbados, it becomes a 90-mile an hour storm. And then as it continues to move, this becomes a 105. I mean, we're 10 miles away from category 3. And in this latest discussion, they talk about how a lot of the models have potential major hurricane entering into these islands. So probably hurricane watches and warnings tonight and tomorrow. And then you can expect still a 105 storm as it continues to cruise through the Caribbean. And then they have right now big track. Do not focus on the eye because it's gonna likely change. Before they had a little bit more north into Jamaica, now a little bit more south, but still a 90-mile an hour hurricane category 1 with major hurricane force winds. So that's just the latest takeaway from the National Hurricane Center. And if we look at the wind speed probabilities, tropical storm force very likely. 80 to 70 to 80% here, even 90% at some speed. But if we look at hurricane probability wind force, they are going to continue to jump. This is the first or second run here of about 20 to 30% probably tomorrow. We're going to watch this go up. Expected. The rainfall totals out of the National Center does have a hatch area, probably some more rain. But for these islands right now, 4 to 6, 2 to 4 inches. I wouldn't rule out 6 to 8, even up to 8 to 12 inches. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, but all these islands do get some bannings, like Dominica, Marquette, Saint Lucia, Saint Vincent, Barbados is at 4 to 6. Tobago and Trinidad, you guys are expected. Trinidad on the northern side 2 to 4, southern side 1 to 2, as the storm is farther away from the south. But even the South Africa, America could be getting 1 to 2 to 2 to 4 inches, according to the National Hurricane Center. So now, quickly, I'm gonna like to take a look at the forecast models here. What does the forecast model say? And we take a look at Beryl once again. This is the HERF, likely to become a pretty powerful storm. By 2 a.m., this could be 1,000. We're gonna have to see. I don't think it's gonna be that strong by 8 a.m. About, 11 a.m. This is a 998. That would be pretty intense there. And then this actually becomes a hurricane probably late Saturday night to maybe midnight, of a category 1. I wouldn't rule that out either. But this continues to intensify. We go 5 a.m. on Sunday morning, 991, 992. Kind of struggles a little bit of keeping it, but this definitely, once it hits there, one thing I've noticed on these hurricane models, as it enters closer, we go from 985 to 980 to 976. So there is a definitely a point as it gets closer to the islands of potential rapid intensification that I've seen on all the models. This would definitely be entering category 2, and you can tell by the eye wall and some of these inner core banding features, you're going to be expecting winds up to category 1 to maybe category 2 wind gusts in the Barbados. We're just going to have to see. This can all change. And this just continues to intensify as it cruises away into a stronger and stronger storm. This eventually does become a major hurricane and keep it all the way for quite a few days, and even into just North Jamaica as a category 3 hurricane just north of there. Very small storm, but just very unique how it's like National Hurricane Center is just south. So Jamaica, you guys are in the path, and if you guys are know anyone from Jamaica, Dominica, or any of these islands, really, we should keep on a watch here. But we look at this storm with the Hammond model, and this just really intensifies into a Cat 1, Category 2 hurricane late tomorrow night with some rapid intensification. But this becomes a all-out major hurricane just south of the Barbados, and this becomes just a straight-out Cat 3 hurricane hitting these islands. Big impacts, and this continues as a Category 3 all the way into Jamaica, makes a landfall, comes out on the other side as probably a Category 1 for disruption of the center. We're going to have to see if it does make landfall in Jamaica or go between the islands, because we've seen that with other storms that it dodges certain landmass and the whole intensity forecast has changed. All right. So we're going to have to really look at that with the Hammond model, especially in the ZRZs to come and other tracks. But have to say, um, more realistic, maybe a category strong one entering two, like the National Hurricane Center. This was a National Hurricane Center looks at this, but even this becomes a category two and struggles a bit. Goes south to Jamaica, more like the National Hurricane Center right here. Pretty close to actually the National Hurricane Center intensity forecast too. Um, here. If we look at the halves B of the models, very intense storm expected. Once again, major hurricane way before the islands. I mean, definitely some intense intensification. We're gonna have to see with the aircraft tomorrow. I'm very curious on that and to see how this progress morning effects on this. But stays a category 3 here all the way into just dodges the islands there and just keeps moving along as a category, fluctuating from a category 2 strong or a category 3 weak. So that's just very interesting to me. If we take a look at the icon just for fun, I know you guys are gonna be like, Justin, um, the icon model is really not good, but I just like to take a look at it for track purposes. But each run has been getting stronger and stronger according to the icon. Definitely has that second storm, and definitely has this storm just south of Jamaica here. So that's pretty unique. GFS definitely into a major hurricane as it enters here. 964, making landfall on these islands. Keeps moving north. Actually makes a landfall all the way up here, and then actually makes landfall in Cuba and really struggles to come out, and then actually comes out in the Gulf and never really gets its act together. But one thing we notice is we're going to be talking about that next system behind it, all right? Um, we take a look at the Canadian, that's a category two. So all these models are really dying in on a category two now, most definitely here with the Windward Islands. The chances are going up. Hour by hour, the chances continue to go up. And the more I see the IR, honestly, the chances just keep going up, in my opinion. Once again, just intense, continuous convection around the center. And that's all we need. If this can just continue to produce like this all night, we're going to see a steady growth in this storm and more organizing throughout tonight. Cloud tops here about 80, reaching 80 feet high, 80,000 feet high. So really intense, but with these bubbling convections, it's really important, and some of these banding features here. So that's just very unique here. But we take a quick look once again. We have two other areas. Remember that we have two other areas in the tropical Atlantic here. Um, I wonder if they're gonna actually update with those. APM 40% here. I mean, both of these have pretty high chances, 40, 40. This one has a chance, according to some hurricane models, to really shockingly intensifies Invest 94L. As you know, I keep saying nothing's gonna form, but the environment in the Bay and Beach can definitely quickly spin up here, warm waters. And today I've noticed a more of a circulation or broad circulation entering the Yucatan. So tomorrow this probably will look crappy. That's expected, but it's after the Bay Campeche here that, depending how fast it moves and stuff, it will have some time. Once again, the waters are very warm for all these systems, so that's another concern. All right, we take a look at the shear here for all these systems here, and look at that. Bay Campeche becoming a bit better environment here for development, and even in invest, actually both storms here in the MDR very conducive. We do maybe have about 10 knots of shear coming in to the northern side, but it's more like outflow. I don't think. I mean, that could be some actual shear keeping that convection from really moving east here. That's maybe the only reason I think, and maybe some of that dry earth helping. But the environment only gets better with this clearly. And if we look at the shear intensity, even out ahead of this, easily the tens and fives. I mean, really minusing that, and even in the Bay Campeche, the environment only gets better as we just continue. So, with all these systems, the environment is really looking positive for these systems to develop and thrive here. But we continue to take a look at GOES meter before I click off here. And once again, that convection really nicely intensifying um, here near the center. This is probably where the center is, somewhere in here, and we could tell that there is a center because we got some of these deeper thunderstorms moving in. Like these thunderstorms out here is moving like this here, and then we got thunderstorms doing this, and then we got some of these storms. You can actually see that very close in the mesoscale, like not an eyewall feature, but just some banding features I'm noticing around that low level center. I'm very curious how this is going to continue to progress because that could be developing an inner core for rapid intensification, and once that comes, it's nothing stopping it. All right, so that's gonna click off here for this one. We're gonna have another tropical update tomorrow morning and probably one in the afternoon. I'm gonna try, and definitely one at night. And we're gonna have to see because on Sunday I do leave, and I am very curious what I'm gonna do. I actually might bring the computer. I'm in debate on that. Maybe do a tropical update. I will try. Um, as I'm on vacation, I will try and do a tropical update. If not, you guys have to look at my shorts and I'll do updates there. But I do not think I'm going to be able to do a huge live stream when this makes landfall. And another thing is, I'm only at 32 subscribers, so I need those to go up for me to make some streams. So that's going to close it off here. Thank you guys for all your support and hope you guys like and enjoy. Have a great night and stay safe.